don't seem to have the Ric Flair story in here.
Okay.
You know, the one about the thing on the plane?
I know the one about the thing on the plane.
Put the picture up, Owen!
Don't put the picture up, Owen. Don't put the picture up, Owen. Don't put the picture up, Owen.
Tell you what, instead, put up a picture of, I don't know, Adam Bomb with a dog. He's at SummerSlam this weekend, not the pay-per-view. He's doing some signings and stuff. And you can buy those Adam Bombs now.
You can, yeah.
True story. Now put the Ric Flair picture up. No. Here's some wrestling news instead. Chris Jericho has leaked the latest AEW signings. Future Goldberg WWE plans have been revealed. And a WWE legend is making their AEW in-ring debut at All Out. Talk about that in a bit. Chris Jericho's guests on his latest edition of Talk is Jericho, baby, were 2.0, formerly Everrise from WWE. And he confirmed in the introduction of the podcast, 2.0 are all elite. This is nice news, isn't it?
Yeah, just stealing all the exclusives from your company there, mate. But you're nice, yeah. This is a good get for AEW here. An accomplished tag team on the indie scene that WWE somehow dropped the ball with. We genuinely, when we saw them sign, I thought that was it. They're on lock. They're going to be like a big deal over there, and
yeah, they seem
like what are you doing?
There's such a coolness about 2.0, formerly Everrise, and we never really got the motor running with them in NXT.
No.
So, and already I think they've already had more moments in their very brief time in AEW than they had in NXT.
And they're a very talked about team. I think they're very in the moment, and I think people are excited to see what they can do, you know, when the chains are off. So
great get for a possible future star of tag team divisions in 2.0. Let's talk about Goldberg in WWE for a little bit, shall we? So Billy Boy was on the bump. Do you watch the bump?
Every now and then, like, you know, I'm kind of the SmackDown correspondent, and then everybody's like, you need to see this, you need to go to that, and I managed to get matches from each of the shows, and I'll see little segments from interviews while I'm editing and stuff. So I see the bump every now and then.
I think if we're ever going to properly get on a WWE program, I think it would be the bump. I reckon we can get on the bump.
Should I just draw Steve Austin's face on my gut and see if that'll do it?
Try it. I mean, Matt Camp already looks like me in a circus mirror.
Just make my belly button be his mouth. Somebody else will have to voice it, because I can't do a Stone Cold.
Get us on the bump, you cowards. But Goldberg was on it the other night, and he was yesterday, and he was talking about his plans going forward. Turns out, Bill Goldberg has 2 matches left on his WWE contract.
On his current WWE contract.
His current one, before he signs a new one. He was chatting away about dream matches again. We briefly talked about how Goldberg is pitching for something with John Cena. Also a little bit of action with Romulus Reigns, and would love to fight Big E. And it turns out, he says here, I've got 2 more matches on my deal here, so we'll see what happens once I take care of Bobby Lashley.
This is it. He's in a bit of a quandary, isn't he? If he's got 3 opponents he wants and 2 matches, he's just going to have to sign another 5-year deal.
5 more years. 5 more years.
The thing is, I can see Goldberg kind of going down to a very as and when schedule after this run, maybe, because he's the sort of name on, you know, the international shows, things like Saudi Arabia. Like, he will, I imagine, be one of the more requested names, because those shows tend to have a bit more of a throwback feel, dare I say. You know, it's more of a massive house show kind of feel-good fan service type environment that they're booked under. So I wouldn't be surprised if we ever saw him pop up again over there, but you know, if he's got 2 matches left, then they've got to make the most of it. And I think if he wants Cena, as I said, you know, if it's 2 older guys, you know, squaring off, then I think that's better. You know, right now, after what we've seen Goldberg kind of tear through the modern roster, I think that's better, because it's sort of inconsequential then. What's Cena going to do? Oh, I lost. I'm just going to have to go back to Hollywood.
Yeah, it doesn't. Like, it doesn't affect anything long term. Like, if he mows through Big E, then that can do some irreparable damage. So, well, I think he should lose to Big E.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If Big E comes out and cashes in, on Saturday. Does that count as one match or two matches for Goldberg? that counts as my second match, Vince?
It depends if it's listed as dates on his contract, I guess.
That's true. It might be one. It might count as one night. Dynamite last
night with Goldberg.
when you kiss me. It was Goldberg sticking around, a legend of WWE sticking around in ring, but two legends of WWE are sticking around behind the curtain. Before we get to our AEW news, Hall of Famer Molly Holly and Sean Daivari now full-time with WWE as producers.
Yes, I mean, when you're looking at producers, you need people with in-ring experience, know-how, and ideally in-ring experience for the company that they're working for. And, Molly Holly and Sean Daivari, it just works. And I think they've been in and around this. What was it? Molly was brought in, sort of trial basis last May.
She dropped between SmackDown and Raw and some producers.
Daivari was let go, and then he's come back several months ago as WWE were ramping up, back toward live events and everything. As we'd heard, they were bringing more producers back in, which is understandable because the second you're out on the road, you don't have a centralised team and you're going to need double the staff again. So
yeah, exactly. So good to have someone like Molly Holly and Sean Daivari guiding some of those careers. I want to give a little nod to new signing to Impact Wrestling, according to Fightful, Zicky Dice. I love Zicky Dice. Quite often people say that Zicky Dice and I might be brothers.
Little bit.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit. My microphone fell off. This is an issue with our new table. So whilst you looked at Zicky Dice, my mic fell off in sheer shock. Zicky Dice is signed with Impact Wrestling. He was part of the tapings just gone, and Fightful have confirmed that he's on the books. I don't know how familiar you are with the work of Zicky Dice.
Little bits here and there. I love his aesthetic. I love his look. I think he's going to be a good fit for Impact. I think it was a matter of time, I think, until this happened.
He looks like an NPC from GTA Vice City most days.
He does.
Strong look.
Yeah, and it's inspiring.
For the second week in a row, in fact, the second time maybe this week, Sammy Guevara has offered a long-term contract to somebody completely unexpected. He proposed to his girlfriend on Dynamite last night. Isn't that lovely?
Him.
What a boy. Thankfully she said yes.
Oh, could you imagine?
They didn't have to change her name for in-ring purposes, and they didn't flash up the All Elite thing, which I think was a missed opportunity. Bam is All Elite. Congratulations, Sammy. Just wanted to throw that in because that's a nice thing. Two things for All Out to talk about before we head away. Tag titles on the line at All Out. How are we getting there, though, Sam?
So we've got a 4-team AEW Tank Title Elimination Tournament that was announced on last night's Dynamite, with the winners facing the Young Bucks in a steel cage match for the titles at All Out. Now, Private Party will take on the Jurassic Express tomorrow night. The tournament continuing next Wednesday on Dynamite as the Varsity Blondes go up against the Lucha Brothers.
Do you have a preference?
I want to see Private Party do more. I want to see Private Party do more, but I just kind of want the Lucha Brothers versus the Bucks again and just see all that just meaty violence.
In a cage?
Oh, Bencher in a cage.
You
package pile driver off.
Big fan of your meaty violence, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What do you order when you go to a steakhouse?
Just I don't know.
Just half a cow.
Just bring me all your meat. All your meat. And a side salad. And a beer.
All your meat belong to
dripping.
us.
Lots of dripping.
You will be dripping. How's this for meat? A former WWE star, WWE legend, announcing their AEW in-ring debut. Can we still say that? Can we still say that?
Well, yeah. So it is. If you haven't guessed, it's Paul White. Now, he made the announcement on Dynamite, where QT Marshall confronted him as he was being interviewed by Tony Schiavone, and QT said, I know why you returned to wrestling as just an announcer, not a wrestler. Here's some x-rays of your busted up, surgically repaired, stronger than ever hip. And White was like, well, I'm not really embarrassed by that. People kind of know that I've had my hip replaced and spoke to Tony Khan, and I'm going to kick your ass. So there's a match.
There you go.
We're getting Paul White versus QT Marshall. And I'm excited about a Paul White match.
This will be a fun attraction.
Nice. It's nice to be excited about him.
It's a cruel twist of fate that Paul White is probably in the best shape of his life. Now he's no longer full-time.
Yeah, but, provided that we see him every now and then, I'll be happy.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think, and just do you know what? QT Marshall's actually perfect foil for this.
Yeah.
Just chuck QT Marshall into
Well, that's
Big
it,
Show.
because a loss to Big Show is just going to make him angrier, and it's just going to kind of work to further the character. I just want Mark Henry back in that ring as well. I want to see just one more, again, big meaty violence. I just want to see Mark Henry just hurl somebody around that arena.
We called him Big Show. Oh. Let's start calling him the Giant, just for fun. Andre's son, making his AEW in-ring debut. More news throughout the day at Cultaholic.com. You're streaming tonight.
I am. It is Marble Mania tonight, everybody. And if you don't know what Marble Mania is, it's a game. It was a game called Marbles on Stream, and what we do is there are various rounds, and we have Grand Prix. And if you win overall, you get a nice place in the esteemed Hall of Ball, and your name will live on forever. But you literally just type one thing into the chat and enter, and then it's like watching a marble run. You just completely pure luck. Who comes out in the bottom, in front? It's real fun, and we'll be doing it for a few hours, 6 o'clock over at twitch.tv/Cultaholic. Marble Mania, baby.
Have a lovely time. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.